Hello students, in today's video we'll be talking about inequality for MAT 101 and Jamb mathematics. So let's start like this. For inequality, you need to take note of the four important symbols. So you have less than, greater than, less than, equals to, greater than, equals to. So this symbol here stands for less than. Okay, this one is less than or equals to, greater than, then you have greater than or equals to. So let me take this first one for example. When I say x is less than 5, and if x were to be an integer, that's a number that doesn't have any decimal points, just like plus 5 or minus 5, okay, a whole number, okay, so x is less than 5, then that means that the first value that x can be is 4, okay, so x cannot be 5, so you start from 4, then it goes to 3, 2, 1, and so on like that. And if x is less than or equals to 5, so x is less than or equals to 5, that means x will start from 5 and it will be going like that, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on. Okay, then for greater than and less than, it's the same meaning. X greater than 10 means x should start from 11, 12, 13, and so on. And x greater than or equals to 12 means at least 12, that means x should start from 12 and be going up like that, 13, 14, and so on like that. So when you are treating inequality, you just treat this sign or this one or this one, treat it like your normal equals to sign. So it obeys the same rule with your normal equals to sign, except for one particular thing. So the thing is, when you're solving a particular inequality, like say minus 2x less than or equals to 8, the next step in this case is to divide both sides by minus 2. So when you do something like this inequality sign must change, it must reverse to the other side. So at this side, this one will cancel out, you have x, but you should not write it like this again, you should reverse it because you are dividing by a negative number. So if you divide this, you just get minus 4. So the answer will be s greater than minus 4. It also applies if you are multiplying by a negative number. If you multiply both sides of an inequality by a negative number, then this sign in your next step, it must change to this opposite sign. If it were to be like this, then it will be like this here. Just make sure you remember to reverse this sign. Okay, then another thing you need to take note of is that when you are solving inequality, always put your answer on the left hand side. Put your variable on the left hand side. Something like this. When you are solving the question, for example, your final answer should be a letter or x less than, then your answer. Don't put it like this. Okay, so when you are solving a particular question, you have it like this. Make sure to reverse it. So when you reverse it, if x should come to this side, this sign too will change. So it will be x less than 5. 5 greater than x means that x is less than 5. So once you keep this in mind, trust me, you don't have any challenge. So let's take one or two questions before we move to how to represent inequalities on the number line and the graphical method. Look at this question, for example, you have to solve this particular inequality. Okay, this first one here. So let's just quickly represent it. So the first thing to do is just to expand the brackets. Then take the like terms, 7 plus 3 will give it 10. Then from this stage, you can correct the like terms. So minus 3x. So I'm bringing this one to this side. That will be less than 13 minus 10. So simplifying further, you will get minus 3x less than 13 minus 10 is 3. Next step, divide both sides by 3. So if you cut this part, so you're going to get x. Since you are dividing by a negative number, you need to reverse this less than to this sign, greater than. Then divide this, you will get minus 1. So this is the answer to that particular question. Let's quickly pick the second one here. So normal process, just expand the brackets. 3 times 2y, that was 6y. minus 9. Take the like terms here. 12 plus 9. This 9 is coming here, that's why it's 12 plus 9. So this will be 21 greater than 6y. Divide both sides by 6. So this part will cancel. 21 divided by 6 will give you 3 here. 3 in 6 is 2. 3 in 21, that will give you 7. So you have 7 over 2. 7 over 2 greater than y. But you don't leave your answer like this. You don't leave y on the right hand side. So you need to move y to the left. So that will be y. This sign will change. This sign will reverse. 7 over 2. Let's leave it like that. So this is the basic idea behind inequality. At times you need to take LCM too in some questions. You need to take the LCM, cross multiply. All those rules also apply, just like a normal equal sign. So let's move to the next part, which is how to represent inequalities on a number line. So in this first one here, we have to represent this on a number line. Okay, so all you have to do is just draw your number line. So you draw your number line like this for this first one. Then you mark 0. Mark where 0 will be. Then go to 7. Where do you think 7 will be? 7 should be on the right hand side here. So just go to any arbitrary point and just mark 7. No need to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Just go to where you need exactly. So that's 7. So the sign says greater than. So you're going to put a small dot here. You go up like this. You draw a circle here. Then since this arrow is pointing to the right, you can see it's pointing to the right like this. So that means your arrow should point to the right too in your diagram. So you just point the arrow to this side like this. Then you write x greater than 7 here. So this means that all the numbers that are here, they are bigger than 7. And these are the values of x that you need. So that's the representation of this first one. Then for this next one here, this second one, as for this one, you need 5. So you draw a number line, go to 0, you mark 5, extend it a bit. So draw your line, put a dot. You have to shade this part. I'll tell you why you're shading it later. So the arrow is pointing to the left, as you can see. To the left, it's going to the left like this. So that means in this part here, it's going to point to the left like this. Then you just write the whole thing that you have. Write this whole thing on the line. So to point left, then write x less than or equals to 5 on it. So the reason why I'm shading it is because it's a closed interval. This point is actually included. If you're talking about the numbers that are less than or equals to 5, you're going to call 5 too. You know, it will be 5, then 4, 3, 2, 1 like that. So because you are calling 5, 5 is inclusive, so you need to shade this part. So anytime you see less than or equals to sign, always shade the parts that it is starting on. Okay, then for this next one, it is telling you that x is in between minus 2 and 6. So you have minus 2 less than or equals to x less than 6. It means that x is bigger than minus 2. But that same x is less than 6. So if you draw it, it will look like this. Go to 0 first, look for minus 2, look for 6. So you draw your line up. This one has less than or equals to, so you're going to shade it. You're going to shade this part. But this one is only less than, so you will not shade here. This one will be open. So you just draw into a straight line like that. Then on top of this line, you just write minus 2 less than x less than 6. So you can see that this is the number that are within this region here, this part here, that satisfy this inequality. And what are those numbers? Numbers like, minus 1 will be here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Don't forget 6 is not included because you have less than here. 6 is not among. This piece is less than. The last number that x can be is 5. So assuming x is an integer, so x cannot be 6 because it's not less than. So this space will be open. Don't shade it. You're going to shade this part. Then for the last one, this one, you have minus 5 less than or equals to x less than or equals to 7. So you draw your normal stuff, put your 0, look for minus 5, you look for 7 too. Then this part here, you're going to shade it. You can see this place is less than or equals to, so you must shade it. This one too, you're going to shade it because it is less than or equals to. So you shade it like this, shade the two of them, then join it to the straight line. Then you write the inequality on top of the line. So that's how to represent inequalities on number line. It's very simple. I hope you understand. Now let's move to the next aspect. So for the previous part of the video, we've talked about how to represent inequalities on a number line. Now we're going to talk about how to graph inequalities. So it's very simple, very simple. So the first one here that we have here, you have to graph x greater than 5. The answer should be on a sketched graph. So you just draw your x and y axis first. That's the first thing you need. So this is y, this is x here. So you have x greater than 5. So very simple. Just come here, write x greater than 5 here. So look for 5 on the, because this is x here. So look for 5 on the horizontal axis, which is x. So let us assume 5 is here. Now the line x greater than 5 is a vertical line. So we draw a vertical line passing through, not horizontal line, no, a vertical line. Because you cannot draw a horizontal line passing through here, because the origin is already there. This is the origin, so the two lines will mix up. So it has to be a vertical line like this. So that vertical line will be dashed line. It will not be joined together. I'll tell you why. Because it is not greater than or equals to. If it is greater than or equals to, then you have to use a joint line. Don't break the line. Let it just go down like that. So if it's ordinarily less than or greater than, then just do it dashed like this. So you have represented the line. So this line is x greater than 5. Now you want to represent x greater than 5 on this graph. Which part will be x greater than 5? You know, this place is negative, 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 negative. Here is 0. Then you have 1, 2, and so on. But by the time you get to this particular point, you have seen 5. Then anything above 5 is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. And the question says x greater than 5. So that means you need the part that are greater than 5. So that means you need this part, everything above this part like this, from here upwards. That's what you need. So that means this is the region that is needed. So you just shade that part. Just use some lines like this to shade it, because that's the part that you need. The question says x greater than 5. So that's what you draw. Something like this. So this is the answer to the question. Then just go above the line here, extend it a bit, and just write x greater than 5. So once someone sees this graph, the person will know that, oh, these regions here are the regions that contains numbers that are bigger than 5. So that's the answer to that. Let's take the next one. So for this second one here, you just draw the same concept. So you have y less than or equals to minus 2. So you just do something like this too. So this is y axis, this is x axis. So minus 2 is here. So you have y less than or equals to minus 2. That's what you want to draw. So minus 2 is down here. Okay. Now, to draw this line, y less than or equals to minus 2, you draw a horizontal line, not a vertical line. A horizontal line. For x axis to be vertical, y it will be horizontal. So you draw a line like this. The line will be joined line. Don't break it like this, because it is less than or equals to, as you can see here. It has to be joined. So you join it like this. You join the whole line together like this, passing through minus 2. Okay, then after that, you need to get which region are we going to shade. Are we going to shade up? Are we going to shade above like this, or are we going to shade below? So that's what you want to check now. So the next thing to do is to go to your inequality and look at it. You have y less than or equals to minus 2. That means the numbers that satisfy this inequality are numbers that are less than minus 2. So the first number that is less than minus 2 is minus 3. Take note of the fact that minus 2 is bigger than minus 10. Even minus 2 and minus 1000 is minus 2 that is bigger. So take note of that. Don't let it confuse you. The first number that is smaller than minus 2 is minus 3. While the next one that is bigger than minus 2 is minus 1. Okay, so don't make that mistake. So minus 3 will be around here. And here, minus 4 will be here, and so on. So all these numbers that are at the back here, they are less than minus 2. And that's what you actually need. So that means we are shading below like this. We are shading below, not above like this. So we are shading below. So just go like this, shade below like this. Shade below. Then write the inequality there. So that's the answer to that one. Now, in some questions, you might need to sketch the graph, something like this, when it is given to you. This is a straight line graph. So you might need to sketch it. To sketch it is very simple. You need just 2 points. When y is 0, you have to look for x, and when x is 0, you have to look for y. So from this one here, you have y, just turn to equals to, y is equals to 2x plus 5. So you have to do when y is 0, what's x? When x is 0, what's y? So when y is 0 now, if this place becomes 0, this place will be 2x plus 5. You have to take like terms. Then that means minus 5 will be equals to 2x. If you divide both sides by 2, you will get x equals to minus 2.5. And if you do the same thing, when x is 0, you have y is equals to 2x plus 5. So since x is now 0, so y will be, everything here will become 0 because x is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. So y will just be ordinary 5. So you can now sketch it now. To make the sketching easy for you to understand, you can just bring out the values of x and y. So when x is 0, your y is 5. And when y is 0, your x is minus 2.5. So let's draw the graph now. So you can just draw a line like this. So this piece is y. So the first one, when x is 0, y is 5. So this is x as 0 here, that's the origin. Y is 5. Put a line here, a star rather. Then when y is 0, x is minus 2.5. So minus 2.5 is around here. So you just join this to a straight line like this. This will be the graph. So next thing, where are we going to shade? Are we going to shade down like this? Or are we going to shade up? So you need to be very careful. Look at how to get it. It's very simple. Now, to know which parts are going to shade, it is very, very simple. You can use 2 methods. Any of them will always work. Now, let's get the parts to shade. The first method is just pick a point that's above the line. A point above the line. If you pick a point like this, for example, this line at this point is above this particular point. If I pick here as P, let me say here is, let me just pick a letter here. Let me just write A here. For example, if I write A here, this point A is under the line. You can see the line is above it. Okay, so anything from here will be less than 0. Okay, but if you pick a point above like this, above the line, like this, then anything from there will be greater than 0. Because this point is on the line, the equation is under it. You can see it's under it like that. So you can use that method to get the answer, to know that this particular point here will be greater than. Anything from here like this will be greater than, while anything from down here will be less than. If you use that particular idea, you will notice that any point that is below the line like this, those points will be less. Okay, they will be less than the value that you get from the graph. While any point that is above this line like this, those points will be greater than the value that you get from the graph. So, but from this question, you see that what you have there is less than. The value of y should be less than. And the values of y at this point there, they are less than what you have gotten from your graph because they are under the line. So the required region to shade, since you have less than here, is to just shade under the graph like this. You shade under the graph like this. Under the graph, not above the graph or under the graph. If you don't quite understand this method, you can use another method. The method is the origin method. The origin method. So you just come to this equation here. You will still get the same answer. Come to this equation here. Put y as 0 and put x as 0 and see what you are going to get. So if y is 0 now, you will get 0 less than or equals to 2 times 0 is also 0. 0 plus 5. On this left hand, you have 0 less than 0 plus 5 is 5. So 0 less than equals to 5. Then ask yourself, is 0 less than or equal to 5? Notice two things. There's or in the middle. I didn't say it's less than and equal to 5. I mean, is 0 less than or equal to 5? So since it's or, one part should be true. If one part is true, you're good to go. So is 0 less than or equals to 5? So the answer is yes, because 0 is less than 5. Okay, but 0 is not equals to 5. So this part, 0 is not equals to 5. This part is not obeyed, but this part is obeyed. So only one part is necessary. So since 0 is less than or equals to 5, that means you are shading the origin. The origin is included. You will shade towards the origin. Let your hand move towards the origin. So the answer will look like this. The answer will be under this line, and your hand will be moving towards the origin. This is the origin here. So your hand should move towards that part like this. This is, you see that it's the same answer that we got from that first method. But that first method is actually faster than this one that I just used now. So this is the required region to shade. Then you just come to your line here and you just write y less than or equals to 2x plus 5. So that's the answer. Now let's move to the next part, which is quadratic inequality. So pay attention carefully, but this is the best part. Let's go. So what you have here right now are quadratic inequalities. You can see the powers of x is always 2, 2, 2, 2, and so on like that. So this is a quadratic inequality. That's a special way of solving it, but it's very simple. I won't lie to you, it's very simple. So let's pick an example. Let's pick one. Let's just pick this one for example. So you have x squared plus x minus 6 less than 0. So this is the question right here. As you can see, this is a quadratic inequality of the power of x here. So you need to look for two numbers. If you multiply, you will get 6. Add or subtract, you get 1x or x. So the numbers are 3 and 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 minus 2 is 1. But which signs will we give them? This bigger number 3, give it the sign of this middle term, plus. So 3 will take plus. Do plus times minus. Anything you get, give it to the smaller number. So plus times minus is minus. So this 2 will take minus. So don't write x again. No. I'm going to write 3x and minus 2x like this. So bracket it, let the sign be in the middle. So factorize now. X is common here. You get x plus 3 here. 2. If you factorize this one, the same thing. Minus times minus will give you plus here. Take note of that. So to confirm you're on the right track, these two numbers in the bracket will be the same. So you just pick one of them, x plus 3. Pick the other one, x minus 2. That's the outside one. Less than 0. Now, at this stage, you can get the final value of x as x plus 3 less than 0 or x minus 2 less than 0. This one will give you x less than 2 if you solve it. This one will give you x less than minus 3. So these are just the values of x, but not the range that we need. At this stage, you can now get the final answers using two methods. Any one you like is correct. So I'm going to do the two methods for you. The first method is to use the graphical method. You just sketch this thing. Sketch it. Very easy to sketch. Don't waste your time. Quadratic graphs are easy to sketch. So if you sketch it, you look like this. Just draw a vertical line. Draw another horizontal line like this. Then draw U shape. Why is it U shape? It is U shape because, come to your equation here. You will see what you have here is positive x squared. If you are drawing quadratic graph and the coefficient of x squared is positive, the graph will have U shape like this. But assuming here was negative, the graph will have N shape. So just draw any U shape like that, like this here, as you can see. Then at this point here, you already have your answers. This one is positive 2. That's the one that will be here. So this one is negative 3. That's the one that will be here. So at this point, what they're asking you now is just check the question where they're asking you for less than or greater than. Check the question again. you will see that they're asking you for less than 0. Anytime they're asking for less than 0, it means they're asking you for which part of this graph is sagging like this, which part of it is sagging, which part of it is doing this sag, this U shape like this, under the x-axis, as in on the x-axis like this, everything under, not above here. They don't want you to check here. They want you to check from which part, from here to this part, which part is the graph under, which region is the part of the graph under the x-axis, like this, under the x-axis. You can see that it's very simple. It is from -3 to 2. That is where the graph is under. Anything above or greater than those points, the graph has risen out, it has gone out. At this point, it is underground like this, under the ground. Okay, so with that idea, you can get the answer like this. The answer will now be, I'm going from -3 and I'm stopping at 2. So the answer will be -3 less than x, talking about the x values in this point, that's what I mean, then less than 2. So this is the answer to the question. So -3 less than x less than 2.